Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the end.
And it's Tony Adams put through by Steve Ball. Would you believe it? Is in for Arsenal and sweeps it home. It's Bergkamp. That's magnificent. He tripped it away from Carr. Henry!
And it's Arsenal! Arsenal FC! With my fervency!
It's time to go!
Good morning, everyone, and hope you're all well. Feeling a little bit better. It wasn't really rough yesterday, and couldn't do all the watch along at all, and just totally bad. But I feel a little bit better this morning, even though I didn't get that much sleep last night. I just feel a little bit better, but it's still not great. As you say, this is Premier League show. Every weekend we do one. If it's Saturday or Sunday, whether Arsenal playing on a Saturday, we'll do it on a Sunday and vice versa. Listen, hope you all enjoyed the football yesterday. We'll talk about Arsenal later on, but let's bring on our guest, our normal man who comes in on a Sunday or a Saturday, and that is Kenny Ken. How are you, Kenny?
I'm all good, Claude. I'm sorry that you're not feeling too great. And,
I feel a bit better this morning, but it's just last night. I mean, not yesterday was terrible. I felt terrible. I thought at one time I looked at myself. I replayed the fan cam I done with Lee Gunner, and I looked at myself and I said, I'm not looking too good. But this morning I feel a little bit better. I don't know. These things come and go. I think at the moment, until I get the scan and find out what the problem is, I won't. Can't do nothing much about it.
Yes.
Well, anyway, let's talk about important things, and that's more important things, and that is the footy. And well, it is to me anyway, because when I'm gone, Arsenal will be still here and hopefully rising again. But we'll talk about Arsenal later on. And let's go through the predictions. We didn't last week. I went through it. It's a 6-all draw. It was a draw between me and you, Kenny. 6. You got one correct score and a few. The correct score, which is 3 points, you got right, Kenny, was, if I'm not mistaken, was the Chelsea-Manchester United game. The one I got right with 3 points was the Liverpool game. So I think we both done. We both got a draw out of that. We didn't do that great, I'm afraid, but it's very hard to predict, isn't it, the Premier League anyway. So there was a draw that week. So well done to both of us, I should say. Now let's go to today's games, and we'll start, Kenny. This could have been a real snog. This could be West Brom versus Newcastle. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, Kenny. I'm going to go West Brom 1, Newcastle 2.
Right. In terms of that, I agree with you, because I think Newcastle just have the extra bit of quality, and they're used to this league as well. And I think in terms of West Brom, they are playing a lot better. They are making themselves difficult to beat, but it's always going to be the goals, and the ability to hold that for 90 minutes. And I just look at Newcastle. I think that because they're playing a team that somehow contrived to get themselves into that position of, not being too far from relegation places. I just think that Newcastle players will will galvanise themselves, because they've had a lot of nonsense as well, where someone's leaked some dressing room bust-ups allegedly between Matt Ritchie and Steve Bruce, although Steve Bruce called out Matt Ritchie for not giving out the instructions. So I think they're going to look at that. It's been leaked to the media. It's going to galvanise the Newcastle players, and I think they'll be too strong. So I am going for like West Brom 0, Newcastle 2.
West Brom 0, Newcastle 2, yeah?
Yes.
Right, let's get that down. Right. Right, what's the next game? Let's have a look here. The next game will be... Hold on, Kenny, hold on. Next game is Liverpool at Fulham. I'm going 2-0 Liverpool for this one.
The thing about it is that it's a good time to play Liverpool at Anfield because what teams have been doing at Liverpool, especially at Anfield, since probably the Burnley game. I think not even Burnley, West Brom, is that Liverpool pre 2018-19 season. They found it very difficult to break teams down who put 2 blocks of 4 and try to play the ball over the top. And I think what teams are doing now is that because Liverpool are not playing to their strengths, i.e. playing their best midfielders and pressing teams across the park and making getting their front three to press as well. What's happening is that they can't get Robertson and Alexander Arnold into the game more, and they can't make space for their front three. So what's happening now is that the passing, because they're not pressing teams to the mistake, they're not passing the ball quickly enough. So teams, whenever Liverpool do go on the attacks, teams are too well organised, they just can't get through. And what's happening is that their players are not being allowed to get into that penalty area. And I think Fulham just have to replicate those tactics and play the ball over the top. If you play the ball over the top with that, if Klopp's going to persist in playing, players like Fabinho, not playing, how do I say it, defensive midfielders in his midfield, then he's going to struggle because I don't see how Curtis Jones, Thiago, Alcantara, and Ronaldo are going to be that midfield press. It's not in their game. Maybe Ronaldo could do it, but Curtis Jones and Thiago Alcantara, no chance. Although Alcantara's played in Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, and he's expected to do that. That is actually not his game. So, and that's one of the reasons why teams are able to get a long ball. Look at Chelsea. Who was on Kante when he put that long ball over the top for Mason Mount? No one. So for me, saying that, Fulham don't score goals, so I'm going to go for a 0-0.
Yeah, I'm just going to get up just a super chat before it goes off the air. It was here a minute ago. 1 minute. It's from Zane, and it's 1 minute. Where has he gone? Because he said, Kenny, with someone of you of course you are of Nigerian heritage. Are you disappointed Saka is not playing for Nigeria?
Not at all, because the fact of the matter is you want players to play for Nigeria who feel Nigerian, and it's been an ambition to play for Nigeria, and that they're not going to get any pressure from any agents who say you're better off playing for England. So for me, I'm not disappointed. And let's face it, Saka's good enough to play for the national side, which is England. So I'm more than happy for Saka to play for the country that he's born in. Nigeria have got a wealth of talent anyway. So with great respect to Saka, there are going to be a lot of good players coming out through the Nigerian system who can still play for the Super Eagles. So really and truly, you don't want someone who's been coached in the English system blocking a pathway for someone to play for the Super Eagles. I mean, you look at what Jamaica are doing. Jamaica are getting looking at a kind of a pathway where Jamaican Englishmen are making some of them making themselves available for the Jamaican national side, which is good in terms of Jamaica, but what about the Jamaican players coming through who have gone through their system? That blocks a pathway of people who are genuine Jamaicans, and I don't want the same thing for people who are genuine Nigerians. So I'm more than happy for English-born players to play for the country of their birth.
Yeah. Okay, Kenny. By the way, if Nigeria play England, who you supporting?
I'm supporting Nigeria.
I think, all right, I'm just saying, because a lot of people say you should support the country you're born in. And
Great respect for that. And I've got so much respect for people who say that because, look,
me, I'm the same as you, Kenny. I get slaughtered for that. I support it.
Yeah, but I do understand the situation because I'm a great supporter of the English cricket side. I'm also support the English football side. But if England are playing Nigeria at football, I'm supporting Nigeria. The same with you supporting Italy, and the same with anyone. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are from the Irish Republic who will support the Republic of Ireland, even though they're born and bred in this country, but out of loyalty to their parents.
Ray Houghton was born in Scotland, and he played for the Republic of Ireland, didn't he?
Who's that? Ray Houghton.
Actually, no. Sorry, I take that back. He was born in Stoke Newington, wasn't he?
No. Ray Houghton was born in Glasgow, and he left Scotland when he was 10, and he moved to. He went to William e. York in around York Way, Caledonian Road sides, because that used to be the neighbouring Catholic school. Because I went to St. Aloysius in Archway, and he went to William e. York in thing. So, when William York closed down, a lot of the teachers and a lot of the pupils came to St. Aloysius. So Ray Houghton, but the reason why Ray Houghton said it himself. The reason why he didn't want to play for Scotland is because of the way he got treated. Because when players went out of Scotland, the English players were treated very badly by the Scottish best players, especially the young ones. So he was never going to play for the Scotland. He was always going to choose the Republic of Ireland. Although it wasn't for John Aldridge, he wouldn't have played for the Republic of Ireland because John Aldridge is the one who put him forward to Jack Charlton.
Right. So you're going
2-0,
isn't it, Liverpool?
No, I'll say 0-0.
What, 0-0 Liverpool?
Yes, because simple reasons that I think Liverpool, unless Klopp changes his tactics, gets beefs up his midfield, leaves out either Curtis Jones or Thiago Alcantara and play someone like James Milner in there, beef it up, press from the front, get his front three pressing and allowing his fullbacks to actually be effective and get on the byline, then I can't see how Liverpool win this game because you're not giving. There's no space for their forwards because they're having to try and win the game from deep, and that's not how Liverpool play football. So if Klopp doesn't change his methods, then it's a 0-0 for me. Don't get me wrong. If this was played away from Anfield, Liverpool win this easy because they'll be dangerous on the break. But the onus is on Liverpool to try and win the game, and I don't. With teams playing like that, and with Klopp messing around with his midfield and playing Fabinho in centre half, I can't see Liverpool winning this at this stage. No.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. I just feel that something's got to go their way short. They can't surely. I don't think they'll go 60 feet like they do. But you know what? You can't tell anymore, can you? I mean, I don't think they played. I just thought Chelsea just got there in the end, didn't they? In the end, only 1-0 in the end.
But Chelsea were very comfortable because Liverpool only had one shot on target, and that was was it late in the second half? So let's be honest. Well, one shot. I don't know if that was even on target, but it was actually one shot on goal. So to be honest, Chelsea were very comfortable on Thursday.
Right. So we've done that now. The biggest game of the day, I think this is the big Manchester derby. You know what they say, form goes out the window because you know what, I have a horrible feeling, but this is going to be a real another 0-0 cancelling each other out. I think it was a horrible game at Old Trafford. I'm going to say Man City. I think Man City will get a goal and then they just have to come in. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City. And I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to change my mind on this. I'm going to go be optimistic and say 2-0 to. Oh, wait a minute. Where is it? Yeah, 2-0 to Manchester City, and yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if it would be a ball 0-0. But I'm just hoping. I just feel that maybe Man City might just get that early start and take the game away from United. But what do you think? Because they're not playing great, United, at the moment, and if City can score early, Bruno Fernandes, as you call him, has not really operated well against the big six. Well, I don't know what they call us in the big six anyway, but this season. So, where'd you go, Kenny, on this one, mate?
I think I'm going to go for a 0-0. The reason I'm going to go for a 0-0 is because I think Man United defensively are very, very strong. You know, he's going to be very mechanical with his selection. I don't see any how Man United can hurt the Man City midfield without Paul Pogba. Bruno Fernandes is probably maybe a liability in this game because away from home, what Bruno Fernandes is trying to do, he's trying to force the game, and by trying to force the game, he's basically giving the ball away, and you can't give the ball away to a Man City team that's going to try and press Man United into mistakes, and then attacking with great pace with waves of numbers. But I think that Man United would be very, very cautious, and they may put Fernandes in areas where he can't hurt the opposition. Another area which concerns me if I was a Man United fan is the form of Marcus Rashford and their front three. There's no Marcus Rashford. I know they say he's got a shoulder injury, but his finishing is just appalling. It's woeful, and you know he's got himself into good positions. But one of the reasons why Man United are now gone from title challengers to just about trying to stay in the top four is mainly down to the performance of their front line. You know, Martial turns up as basically a confidence player. And, you know, what's that? Cavani's still trying to find his feet in this league. So, in that respect, I don't see Man United hurting Man City defensively. However, Man United will have the game plan to try and see if they can nick it. And I think they'll make themselves very difficult to beat. But for them to do that, they've got to make sure they run and run and run and run. Anyone who doesn't want to run against the City side, then what happens? Man United are going to get bodied big time. But I can't see it happening. I'm going for a 0-0.
So that's 2-0. So they're not good Super Sunday to watch, is it?
It's all about the quality, and I just think yes, Man City have got the quality. They
are
playing well.
0-0, by the way.
But I'm just saying that Man City do have the quality. You know, they've got players that the front three: Sterling, Foden. Mahrez, Godwin. Bernardo Silva, all that front three. Plus, I haven't even named LeBron. And then you've got the midfield that players. So you've got the fullbacks. You've got Cancelo, and you've got Walker. Then you've got the centre halves who can score. They've got goals all over that pitch. But I think Man United are going to come for a point. And when a team comes for a point, and everyone has an attention to detail, they're going to be difficult to break down. And I think. City have done really well, gone on an unbeaten run. They've won some consecutive games, but I just think they're going to come short today.
Yeah. Okay. Come to the last game. Tottenham Hotspur playing Crystal Palace. No Zaha for Palace at the moment. I think he's still injured, isn't he, Kenny? I think, but I just can't see anything but a routine Spurs win here. I'm going to go 3-0. I mean, they're at the moment, the three at the front are really buzzing at the moment. So I'm going to go 3-0 Tottenham.
I can't disagree with what you're saying because I know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, Spurs were in a bit of a trough. They got knocked out of the FA Cup 5-4, and then they lost a few, consecutive league games. But since then, obviously playing teams like Wolfsburg in the Europa League is going to, especially when your forwards are going to have a good day, that's going to be very good for your confidence. And the players like Dele Alli saying that, Song's back in form, Kane's in form, Gareth Bale's coming to the party as well. So I don't see how Crystal Palace can cope with them. in terms of like, it depends if they're going to play in defence. But I think Joel Ward and Van Aanholt are going to have a really, really torrid time. And I don't see who's going to be picking up Harry Kane when he drops off, and who's going to pick up the runs of Gareth Bale and Song. And who knows, he might play Dele Alli as well. So if he plays Dele Alli as well, then obviously he's going to look to go for the game and try and win this comfortably. So 3-0 is about right, and I definitely agree with your scoreline.
Yeah.
But it's just going to make more thing. If Zaha's playing, then if trouble with Zaha, there's no pace in the way Crystal Palace play in terms of pace and movement, everything. And I know that they've got Eze's a fantastic footballer, smooth as anything. But it obviously it's too much on him at the moment with Crystal Palace and trying to get him into games. But you know what? You don't know what Crystal Palace will turn up. Look how Brighton fans felt. Crystal Palace not getting battered from pillar to post, and they go and win 2-1. So anything can happen. But I'm still going to stick with my scoreline of 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, that's what we both agree on that one. Tomorrow is Chelsea versus Everton. I think two great tactical coaches. I think they'll both cancel each other out. Maybe 1-1 for me. Go 1-1.
Well, the good thing about it is that Chelsea defensively are very, very tight. He's playing a back three. He's got Conte as well, back playing well to the best mate, and he's got Jorginho playing for him as well. Mason Mount's playing his best football, and he's restored Chilwell back to his team as well, especially now he's playing a back three. And it's the only selection thing that Chelsea are going to have, whether to play Hudson-Odoi or Reece James. So in that respect, the midfield and defence, Chelsea fans got to be happy with them, but it's still the front line. I don't see goals with their players. What's that with Tammy Abrahams? You're right, mate.
Hi. Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah. What's that with Tammy Abraham? He hasn't made cut the squads. He injured, fit, was he not in contention? Werner can't hit a barn door, and let's just be honest. And then Giroud, it's hit and miss. So that's going to give Everton a lot of encouragement, especially if they defend well. And but if Everton defend well and Chelsea defend well, I can't see anything but a 0-0. I really can't. And that's just me being pessimistic. But I think you've got a Chelsea forward line who can't hurt teams at the moment, and you've got a Chelsea, defence and midfield who are very tough to break down. So, 0-0 for me. Although Everton have got some very good players, they've got defensive players, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison actually is playing down the middle, and they're probably going to look for the ball over the top, which Richarlison responds to, but. I think Chelsea would be too savvy for that. 0-0 all day long.
Yeah, I think it'll be a draw one way or the other because I wouldn't be surprised if either team's. It's a tough one to call that one. West Ham, is it Leeds West Ham or West Ham Leeds? 1 minute. Hold on a minute. Let me get this right because I don't. Yeah, West Ham versus Leeds at the Olympic Stadium or the West Ham Stadium now, the London Stadium as it's now called. Where'd you go on this one?
Well, the thing is that you don't know what Leeds is going to turn up. They've got more than and especially more than capable of bodying you, especially with the overloads they play on both sides of the pitch with their thing. But it's one of the things I think Leeds are missing. Is that Ayling is in defence. Now, normally when Ayling plays at right back, that's when I think Leeds play their best football because he helps create the overloads and create space for, Bamford and over the other side as well. And also, Harrison doesn't seem to be getting his bit stop and starts as well. And also missing Calvin Phillips as well, midfield, who's basically the brain of that side. West Ham are just playing fantastically well. They're playing to their strengths. Declan Rice is in excellent form. Souček is been a find of the last 18 months for me, where it just pops up everywhere, with goals. And, they've got Antonio Bates flying, Jesse Lingard as well. I can only see West Ham winning this very, very comfortably. Can't see him conceding, but I'm going 3-1 West Ham.
Yeah, 3-1 West Ham. Oh, fair enough. Right, does that conclude? I think that concludes all the games. Let's have a look. Yeah, that concludes every game. Yeah. Right, Kenny. Let's look back at yesterday, Kenny. Then let's start with the game. Let's talk about Arsenal in general. This is my assessment of the game. I'm not going to blame penalty decisions. I'm not going to call for agendas against the football club, which has been said in a lot of fan cams over the weekend. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I thought we controlled the first sort of 35, 40 minutes of the game. We gave a stupid goal away. Unnecessary goal away. We should have been 2 or 3 up by then anyway, with Saka missing that chance. I think what he's got to do, one thing he's got to improve is he can score great goals, but he's got to, his finishing at the yesterday was poor. But I'm not going to listen. I think, and this is where I'm wrong. I'm going to say I'm wrong about Saka. And I said it was a good decision to keep him out of the side last week. Maybe it wasn't, because it seemed to me that he lost a bit of that sharpness by being a week away. So maybe I was in the wrong for saying he should have been left out last week. All right, that was a clear penalty under the new law. It's a clear penalty. But then again, you can't say about VAR, because both the VAR actually agreed with the referee with the handball. The one on the line, I don't think you should even need VAR, because it's clearly hitting here, there. You could clearly see it. And how the referees just automatically gave a red without even thinking is beyond me. And overall, I think Burnley also created chances. I heard a lot of fan cams saying we had enough second half, but if it not for, I thought my man of the match for me was Leno, because he kept us in with 2 outstanding saves, and I thought I think that was a fair result in the end. In the end, it's a fair result, and we got punished for not putting the chances away in the first half. I thought Burnley were the better side in the second half. I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say Burnley were the better side in the second half. So for me, it's a draw is a fair result. And as for the decisions, it comes and goes. I'm always about. I will say about VAR. To me, it should just be about goal line and offsides, because they're the only factual ones that are out there. All the others are subjective decisions. So that's how I feel, Kenny. I don't know what you feel about the game.
Well, first and foremost, I stand by everything I said in the game. I'm obviously going to, repeat it for your show, because you haven't heard what I've said to a live audience. But what I will say is that our arrogance and delusions of grandeur was breathtaking, really. First 35 minutes, we played fantastically well, akin to the performance against Leeds, where Willian was playing well, got an assist. Aubameyang hit his shot early. We had other chances where Aubameyang got overexcited because he thought it'd be easy. Saka was finishing was appalling, and then we had that brainwave situation. And the reason why you have things like that is obviously Leno should have cleared the ball. Xhaka somehow didn't realise that it didn't occur to him that Wood was sniffing around for any scraps, and he was there to press him, because I didn't see any sunlight in his eyes. But that sort of play is born out of thinking that the game was already won, and that we're these well beaters, and that this team Burnley were easy, because the fact that Burnley were struggling. Their passing was going astray. They couldn't cope with our speed on the counter attack, and the fact that Tierney and the overloads down the left hand side. So what they were doing, they went into some kind of an arse protection mode and said, "Look, let's just see this out to half time and see what we could do." But to give them an in like that, the minute Burnley got that goal, they regained control of the match. And I think what's happened is that their manager, who I felt out-coached Arteta, and I'm not saying it, and the reason I'm going to explain myself. You look in that second half, and you look at the substitutions. Sean Dyche got his methods right in terms of players he brought on. He could sense and smell the fact that Partey was a weak link, that Partey isn't fit enough fully for this league. So what they did is that they saw him, and they basically pressed him out of the game. They pressed him to the mistakes. Because he was making the mistakes, that gave Burnley the impetus to get into this game. If you look at the fact that the saves that Leno made from Wood, brilliant save. That was a match-winning save. You're 100% right. He's man of the match. Also made a good save from Peters from that volley. But Burnley looked the most likely because their manager got his substitutions right and he's got his methods right. He recognised a weakness. What he did is that he made sure that he basically isolated Kieran Tierney and he put everything down at right-hand side where Callum Chambers was, and because he saw Callum Chambers as a weak link, and basically he put pressure on Murray, who also had a very poor setting off. And one of the reasons why I was frustrated with Mikel Arteta is that I applauded his decision to take off Odegaard, 100%. That weren't his game. He was a passenger in the second half. But what I didn't like was the best way for us to win this game was to bring on Lacazette. You had Pepe and you had Saka. What you should have done is that rather than play through the middle, go down the wings. What's the point of bringing on Lacazette and then playing him in the number 10 position because he's taken off Odegaard and isolating him from Aubameyang, who needs support? Because let's face it, we were trying to get that winner, weren't we? So you're trying to get the winner, get Lacazette alongside Aubameyang, and then basically get the ball out wide, tell Pepe go on the right-hand side, Saka goes on the left, stretch the Burnley defence, give me and Tarkowski something to defend, put more pressure on them, Peters, and put pressure on Lowton, and then that's how we should have won the game. But to play Lacazette in a number 10 role where he can't get himself in the game, he was redundant and made no contribution, and Aubameyang gets isolated was lunacy, pure lunacy, really. And it handed again. Burnley controlled the game. Yes, there were incidents that obviously you'll want me to discuss as well. The penalty, the first one in terms of the handballs involving Peters. As I said to you, Claude, in private, if it had not been, and I'm going to call you out because we and you had a disagreement in the second game of the season, the third week of the season, when Spurs played Newcastle. And then remember when that free kick went in and Eric Dyer handled the ball, and I said penalty because that's the rules. And people like yourself say, nah, the game's dead. And then Arsenal fans saying the same thing. Well, what's happened since then is that the referees have gone back to the drawing board and they stopped giving penalties like that because the media and the pressure on right where he stopped. And, fans made that pressure. So we now had a situation last week at Stamford Bridge with Greenwood and Hudson-Odoi, and we now had the same as Tarkowski. Beginning of the season, those were penalties. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say the game's dead when the referees are giving, penalties for handball, regardless of what distance it is. And then all of a sudden said, "Oh, hang on, we're a bit wrong here now. We needed that decision." And the one you talk about, of Peters as well, he could do that 100 times, right? And only one time, i.e., yesterday, would that hit his chest and go over the bar. That was the biggest fluke ever. And then obviously we they had a block shot from me, and you had the Ceballos hitting the post. But let's face it, you don't give Premiership teams, no matter how superior.
Hold on, Connie. So you're saying the first one you're saying is a penalty or is not a penalty?
No, what I'm saying is that the first one was given. you know, if we go back to the letter of the law at the beginning of the season, that was a penalty that would have been given.
But it's now, isn't it? It's now because he's got his hand.
No, it's not. It's not. They're not going to give him no more. They're not giving them no more because the ones that they're not giving, the ones where the armpit or where it's not intentional, and they're not giving the ones. They're not giving the ones where it's nearby, but they'll give them at the beginning of the season. But they're not giving them for penalties. They're not giving the penalties. But the penalties. And the reason why they haven't given the penalties is peer pressure. And I always say, let the referees referee the game and stay out of it. Because what will happen is that they're going to backtrack.
Exactly. And that is why I'm against VAR, Kenny.
Yeah,
because because at the end of the day, the only clear things you can say that the referee is getting wrong are the offsides and what you call it, offsides and goal line. The others are subjective. What one referee on the pitch that decides, and what the other one? Say they're both. So they're both have got opinions. They're not facts. They're opinions.
Totally agree.
The only facts that you can see on the pitch are, for me, the only facts are the offside line because you can see the line across, and even then, the technology ain't that great to say when that ball releases the foot. By the way, even then, but at least that's the nearest to the one that's 99% sure. Yeah, but with the goal line, it's a goal because they've got the proper equipment. When the ball is over the line and not over the line. With the others, they're all subjective, and it's one referee against another referee. So let the referee on the pitch decide. That's how I see. Scrap the whole thing.
You can't put the
we survived 100 years of football without all this nonsense. All you'll get, and I agree with what who was it? Who was it? Yes, the other day he said the emotion now it's gone ridiculous. That the emotion now has gone out of the game. You don't even know what to celebrate a goal anymore. And I agree with it. I agree. It's just complete and utter. All it is bringing.
Can I just cut in right? How comes in France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and Portugal we don't have problems with VR and no fans? Why is it only in England that we don't want to move on with technology?
Maybe they've got good referees over there.
No.
Shit.
Let's talk about the facts. Let's not forget that football fans, ex-players who turn pundits and commentators, and co-commentators in the box, were calling and asking for the referees to get some help because offside goals were given. Goals that were onside were given offside, and because the off-the-ball stuff wasn't seen. So they wanted the referees to get some help, like they do at cricket, like they do in rugby union and rugby league, and they do at tennis. The trouble with football, especially in this country, is that we see the product as our product as not to be touched and no interference whatsoever. Yet when we don't get the decisions we think we deserve, we ask for outside help. So we get things like VAR. That some of the decisions, you are right, it's based on opinion. But the fact of the matter is that there were more complaints about dodgy decisions. In fact, I say 50-50 than they are now. The reason why people don't want VAR is, because it's subjective, it's someone's opinion. All right, you had someone's opinion that was suspected and things were getting missed and people were complaining. They say about taking the emotion out of the game and like fans got to celebrate. Hang on here. We've had arguments on coach trips and train rides back from matches, where we've argued about was it over the line and blah blah. You know what I mean? And I think you say they're taking out the emotion out of the game. Trust me, in 10 years' time, football fans are going to get used to it. What I say about football fans are the most resilient people ever. They don't like change, but they still put up with it anyway. And I think they'll get used to this.
Kenny, listen, you've also got to look at it. They don't always get it right. And you look at the West Ham Fulham game at Fulham, they all got it all wrong. The VAR, the referee, they all got it wrong in the end. So for me, listen, I didn't see anyone complaining about bringing these sort of things in 15, 20 years ago. It's now people, and I'm getting sick of this now as well. I mean, if he are, I love Jack. I love Jack. Don't get me wrong. I love Jack to bits, but all this.
We all love Jack.
And I love Jack to bits, Jack Stevenson. I love it to bits. But to say that VAR cost Arsenal more titles in between 2001 and 2006 is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, Jack. Love you to bits, mate, but I can't have that. I can't have it. I mean, this is where we go. I think the main problem, you know what, Kenny? If we had top referees that know what they're doing instead of, I mean, that decision yesterday. I mean, Mariner, how he's actually seen a handball and got that red without even thinking is beyond me. He didn't even go to the screen to have a look himself.
All right. In his defence, right? Speeds, right? You've seen Pepe volley the ball, all right? Now, I thought it was handball because I thought there was no way that he could physically get his both his shoulders up and then position his chest and then in all in one movement get the ball out of the bar. I thought the only way that happens, he handballs the ball. That's what it looked like to me.
Then again,
so you can't blame him for that mistake.
You're in doubt, you shouldn't be giving anything at all.
Well, you have to give a penalty because I would have given a penalty. I was screaming penalty because I thought it was a penalty in the naked eye.
I'm screaming penalty because I'm an Arsenal fan, but it doesn't mean
he don't have to be an Arsenal fan. Anyone who watches football would say 100 out of, if he does this 100 times, there's no way you'll say 199 times out of the 100 he pushes that ball over the bar with either his a part of his arm or his bare hands. Because that's how it was in full-time play. We genuinely believed at the time, and we were mistaken, that he handled the ball. And I think the referee's in the same position. Goal scoring opportunity, send it off. But he was proved wrong.
But this thing about this agenda and all this, I mean, I can't have that. I saw that on the fan cam yesterday. Our chances away and we win the game. We can't keep blaming referees on
Claude, before we go to the next point, let me tell you something about Arsenal fans, right? And I've told many Arsenal fans, and obviously, yes, some of them are staunchly behind Mikel, which we all respect. We don't agree with, what we respect.
Yeah.
I always say, out of a 38-game football season, you can't be unlucky 38 times a season. You just can't. It's not possible. When we finish the season on May the 23rd, where we finish, we deserve to finish. You know what I mean? Because we haven't been good enough.
But apparently this guy had video. He's got evidence to bring up.
Well, he's got no evidence whatsoever, and who really cares anyway? Because
to suggest there's an agenda against the football club. He's got.
Everyone has the right to support the club.
And he's going back. By the way, he's going back to 2004 with this evidence. You know that.
Since 2004, Chelsea have become a strong side, have won multiple trophies. Man City have become one of the best sides in Britain. Liverpool finally won a title. Leicester won a title, and Man United carried on their dominance until Sir Alex retired. So, you know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories which has helped other teams who have been better than us, by the way, win titles. So, you know, it's all. I'm all for getting behind the football club and supporting them, you know, for land and sea. But sometimes, right, we can't always be the 8-year-old in the playground thinking we all agree Arsenal was magic and every other club is tragic. You know, you move on with that when you get a bit older.
I will say, though, to end this on this one, I will say there was that one game, I don't know whether you remember, where the Man United 2000, it was the end of our unbeaten run. And
yes,
they were kicking us to pieces. And there was,
yes,
they showed the video, I just see the video of it, and there was 5 or 6 players getting away with absolutely horrendous tackles, yeah? We made one challenge, and Riley got the yellow card out, and then there was the Rooney.
Always
is that Mike Riley on that day. Something I will say on that day that I was bothered by that, but he's in charge of referees.
Claude, that day in 2004, our reputation preceded us in both counts. The first count was that, I think Man United played us 2 seasons before that when they beat us 2-0 at Old Trafford, and they realised that they couldn't deal with us in terms of like our physicality. But what Arsenal really like, if you tackled them and tackled them hard, and let the referee let things go. So players like Scholes are putting their foot in. So the Neville brothers putting their foot in. And remember, Beckham wasn't playing; he was injured that game, and they beat us 2-0. Then they had the back pizza game, and then 2004, where I think Arsenal decline started in the 50th game. That's when we've never recovered from that. 17 years later, they thought, right, this Arsenal side's soft, let's kick them. And then what's happened is the teams had a blueprint that you can kick this Arsenal side. And when Patrick left, that was that. But the other thing that I think our representative preceded us is that, remember, that was a period when Arsenal had about how many players sent off under Arsene Wenger's reign? So we were seen as the bad boys of how do I say, the FA, where our players were getting red cards. How many red cards was Vieira getting? I lost count of his red cards. Even Bergkamp got a few. So basically, we were dirty. We were seen as dirty sides.
Yeah, but that started before that. You say that, but do you remember that started a bit before that? Remember Allardyce's Bolton when we played them at Burnham Park? Not Burnham Park.
Yeah, that's right.
Reebok.
Man United
at the Reebok, Burnham Park ages ago. At the Reebok, yeah, and we played them at the Reebok. And do you remember that they really were physical that day? Were kicking us to pieces. And I remember that we got a real kick in that day. We were 2-0 up, and I think we drew the game 2-2 in the end.
Yes, right, that's right. But what I'm trying to say is that was the season. That was around we lost. It was May 2003. Yeah. But we played Man United on the 7th of December 2002, where they won 2-0, and that's when they started playing that, kicking us off the park. So in terms of them kicking us off the park, it was Man United who actually gave Allardyce that idea. And Allardyce perfected it. But obviously we still had players who were physically stronger and quicker than everyone else. And then obviously after we did the Invincibles, Man United did it again, and all the teams thought, right, that's the way to beat Arsenal.
Wasn't that the year we beat them in the FA Cup, the same season, where we lost to Old Trafford?
Yeah, we beat them 2-0 when Ryan Giggs
missed that chance before half time, isn't it?
And it was actually the day after Valentine's Day, 2003. But that's obviously not part of the football conversation. But that was when Ferguson and Beckham had their little row, wasn't it, with a football boot? Yeah.
They did go on to win the title that year, though, didn't they? So,
maybe.
I think that year we should have won that title that year as well.
100% we should have.
We had 3 league titles on the trot.
But you know what's happened is that there's a reason why things happen, and the table just doesn't lie. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
I think the big game that messed us up that year was Bolton. I remember it. We're 2-0 up and we drew 2-2. If we'd have won that game, I think we would have gone on to win it. If you look. Yeah, but we can't keep arguing about that. But
can't cry over spilt milk,
No.
But we weren't
disappointed in me yesterday, and I got a lot of people telling me I was wrong. Partey, second half really disappointed me.
Awful. He was a weak link, and I think what's happened is that, and I say it's a great respect for him. We need to get as fit as possible, because when he's really, really fit, you're going to see the best of him. Until he gets 100% fit, and I don't mean in terms of like muscles and like cuts and bruises. I'm talking about physically fit for this game. Then you won't see the best of him. Arsenal.
Does he need an upgrade beside him?
It's not a case of needing an upgrade beside him, because I think if he had the upgrade beside him, if he's not physically fit and he's not in tune with that game, he won't play well.
Is fit, do we still need to go to really to go up another level? Do we need
100%,
an upgrade next to him?
100%, because we need the midfield partnership who can basically beat teams up, and then we need a creative player alongside those two players who's going to start opening doors for us. So we basically need two midfielders.
So where I'm coming from now, Kenny, sorry to interrupt you. Where I'm coming from now is, do we cash in on Granit Xhaka?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll answer that. And I'll basically add some plurals for you. Every player, as far as I'm concerned, is up for sale. I'm taking no prisoners, because we need, I said 4 players. You've now added another one. We need 5 players, and we need to find the money elsewhere. So everyone, I have no affiliation to any player. If we can sell one of these players, I don't care who you are, and I repeat, I don't care who you are. If that can enable us to get 5 players, I think can make us challenge, then I couldn't care less. Because let's face it, last season they finished 8th, albeit win the FA Cup. They contrived to fall out the top 4 and top 3. So they're not exactly pulling up trees. Yes, individually some of the players are playing really, really well, but as a team, no great shakes. So everyone's dispensable as far as I'm concerned. Let me tell you something now, Claude. I want Arsenal to get to the top, and I don't care who gets left behind and who has to leave. My goal is project re-entry into the Champions League / title challenge and winning the title. That's all I'm interested in. I don't care. I don't have any loyalty to any players. I have loyalty to my club, but players and managers are dispensable.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I mean, we want a successful Arsenal at the end of the day. And
that's all I'm interested in. Nothing personal.
Thank you very much for being part of the club. But,
exactly.
See you later. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on a results basis.
Surprised at the selection of Chambers yesterday, by the way, who I thought played quite well. Are you surprised at his selection yesterday?
Well, not really, because he was very unlucky. He was playing in Arteta's earlier games. He got injured against Chelsea last year in 29th of December last season. So obviously he's been bit. And the thing about Callum is he's an honest player. He gives every minute of every minute of every football match for the cause. And he's a steady Eddie. And we need few steady Eddies. We need to play. And people criticise El Neni as well. And Neni's another person. You told El Neni to go and build your wall. He'll go and build you that wall, and he'll do it properly, because that's what you asked him to do. You can't expect El Neni to be a Hussein aouar. El Neni is what he is on the tin, and so is Callum Chambers, and to a certain extent, so is Granit Xhaka. We knew what we were getting with Granit Xhaka, and we've known what we're going to get with him anyway. We know that there's going to be, for every few solid performances, there's going to be a brainwave, because he's not, and I say it, he's not mobile enough for this league.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Onwards to Olympiacos, Kenny. Fancy us?
Well, the thing about it is that you've got to remember, we're beatable. I'll say we're beatable, but we have players who can hurt Olympiacos. But if teams defend well and we make mistakes, then we can contrive to go out the last 16. We nearly went out in the last 32. So we have to really eradicate these mistakes, and we have to be ruthless in front of goal. We do that, and then I'm extremely satisfied for our passages throughout the tournament. But it's an indictment of this football club that the Europa League has become our alpha and omega. We want it to be alongside, at least chance for the top 4. But it is what it is, and his team selection is going to be a lot different from what it was yesterday. And I expect perhaps the same team that started against Benfica at Olympiacos 2 weeks, nearly 2 weeks ago, will start this Thursday.
Yeah. Well, let's look at going to yesterday's game. Just rounding up yesterday's game. Good win for Leicester.
Yes, but I thought Brighton were very unlucky because I thought Leicester City should have been Leicester City shouldn't have been in the races. They scored a good goal from Lallana. Mopai got a goal to Slad, and they were playing Leicester off the park. But football's a 90-minute game, and when you've got players like Ihalacho who can get you the odd goal, and obviously he's not prolific as Jamie Vardy, but can get you an odd goal, and you got Leicester when it went to 1-1. They were the ones who were trying to win the game. It was only all it needed was a mistake, and Leicester capitalised. I thought they're well worth their 2-1 win in the end. But Brighton, could consider themselves lucky. But it's all about quality, isn't it? And about ruthlessness in front of goal. And they just don't have that.
Tony Rolfe's in the chat. He's asking, our friend Tony Rolfe, he's asking, can Man City win the quadruple?
No, because I think the Champions League, they're teams that could defend better, who are good defensively.
Yeah, Bayern Munich are going to take some shifting.
I'm not even talking about Bayern Munich. It won't be Bayern Munich. It will beat Man City. I think Man City will get the quarterfinals, and that's about it. They'll play a better team in the quarterfinals. They're going to play a team that can defend in numbers properly, who's going to be as physically fit as them, and have something up front. And that's when they'll struggle. Yeah. They didn't get past the quarters last year. Lost to Lyon. Lost to Tottenham and away goals. I still don't know how that happened. And Liverpool bodied them. I wouldn't be surprised if
that's your great machinery called VAR.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, right? I'm going to say something even controversial. If Man City played Liverpool or Chelsea in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I would not put money on Man City winning those ties. I'll put money on Liverpool beating them, and I'll put money on Chelsea beating them. Not because they're better than Man City. I just think that they're tactically, Pep just doesn't adapt for this competition. He doesn't adapt, especially defensively. And I think that those teams are going to play the European style.
Well, you're saying that. So why can't, if that's the case, then why can't they just use the tactics that they use in Europe against Pep in the league games then?
Because they can't, because the simple reason is that it's a different situation. Remember, the league game is a 90-minute game where you don't play that opposition till about maybe 3 or 4 months later. But the Champions League is not a 90-minute game. It's 2 halves of 90 minutes, which means you basically got 180 minutes plus, if you're lucky, extra time. So that's enough time to prepare. So you're preparing specifically for those 2 ties, which Liverpool did in 2018, which Spurs did in 2019, and obviously Lyon was a one-off. But
would that be the reason why Wenger failed against Ranieri then? Because he beat them also in the Premier League and all them in 2004.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I think it's a situation. It's a cup game as well. The cup is a cup game where, form goes out the window, but organisation and the ability to be clinical at the right times, especially cup football, will take you a long way. And I think that's where I think teams will beat Man City. I think I'm not just talking about the British sides. I think they can beat them. I think Juventus, if they get through, will beat them. PSG will body them up and away. Because
you've got a great point there, because if you look at it, that year that Chelsea won the Champions League, they were not even the 5th best team in the league, were they? At the time?
No, they finished 6th. But they went. They went to Barcelona, and navigated 180 minutes in the semi-final. Remember they played Napoli as well. Had to wait to was it extra time?
I think they were very fortunate against Bayern Munich. They rode their luck. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's it's a final. We're going to take some.
But that's what I say. What I say about the Champions League, European Champions League, it's not necessarily the best team in Europe that win it, because it's a cup competition.
The best prepared team wins it. The best prepared teams wins it. look, if you look at the Champions League final in 2019,
Liverpool when they won it with Traore playing for them. Remember when they won it? Where was it against?
Yeah,
in that final.
Yeah. AC Milan 3-0 up, thought they won it. Liverpool thought had early ideas, got 2 early goals, and then they got a third goal. AC Milan were just thinking, what do we do now? And
you know what? I tell you what, and I think this is someone and it's been pointed out to me as well. One thing with English teams, they never give up when they're 3-0 up, 3-0 down. This is one thing the continental teams haven't got that the English teams have. If they're 3-0 down or 2-0 down, they never give in. There's never give in spirit. These continental teams don't have that in them.
No, I think once it's not a case that they don't have that sort of spirit. I think what's happened is that they're more sort of like, how do I say it, mechanical in the way they think, to the extent that they think, all right, we're losing 3-0, but let's not make sure we lose 6 or 8.
Yeah,
and they have the sort of let's see attitude and let's sort of prepare. But English fans went, right, we've got nothing to lose. Bang, we're going to go out in our shield. And I think the continental teams have a different way and a more, how do I say it, suave way of doing that in a sort of organised fashion.
It's like Bayern Munich in that fight, and they got caught out in that final against United. They were 1-0 up there. They're all celebrating on the bloody touchline. What was it? They already thought they'd won it, and they just and bang, you've got to concentrate for 90 minutes, mate. Even though you're in control, and they were in control of that game. Yeah, I'm not being funny. I can't believe. I mean, they were great top side then, United, but that final they were not the best side in that final.
Yeah, but they had players out. They had the 2 best players out, Keenan and Scholes, didn't they?
Yeah, but what they done, but they dug in. But Bayern Munich should have been out of sight in that game. Yeah, but 1-0 up, they were thought, we've got this.
Come on, you know the rules. Should have and could have. You know, Yank hitting the bar.
They were too comfortable. Bayern Munich too comfortable.
But you know, you have to be in it to win it. Yeah, I know you're talking about. You're talking about Yanker hitting the bar. You're talking about Scholl hitting the bar, and you're talking about the save. Saved by Schmeichel. I think it was from was it Basler when he tried to lob him with his left foot. So yeah, but that's why it takes 90 minutes to win a football game. You're never out of it, especially when you're 1-0 down.
Yeah. So someone has just texted me. Said a Chelsea fan is not Ralphie. He said, "How comes there's no process at Chelsea, but there is a process at Arsenal?"
We ask ourselves that question all the time, mate. Whatever your name is, we ask ourselves that question all the time.
It's amazing, isn't it? He's just gone in the job, and he's got them lifting straight away. But then again, having said that, they have got some top players in that team as well.
And they have a mentality where second is nowhere. Plus, they make sure that the support network for the managers is very strong in terms of like the footballing side of the club. Everyone's the best at everyone's the best at the business that they hire. The same as Man City. You can't have a successful football team unless you have the best support network behind you. And we don't have the best support network at Arsenal. You've got to realise that Arsene Wenger was at a football club for a very long time where he had unilateral control of the football club. So what's happened is that when Arsene Wenger gets dismissed, you have to appoint maybe 3 or 4 people in roles that never existed at a football club before he was there.
Yeah, totally agree.
Whilst teams like Chelsea and Man City and even Spurs had that framework, so they're ahead of us in terms of the support network off the pitch. Maybe that's why we managers go to the clubs like Tottenham, in terms of Mourinho. Go clubs like Liverpool in terms of club, and go clubs like Chelsea and Man City, because behind the scenes and the support network is top notch, as opposed to us. People just think it's just about money, but it's not just about money, and it's not just about players. It's about organisation, the football side of the club.
Yeah. Okay, so Kenny, I think that sums it all. As I said, that sums it all up. What was that commentator? That sums it all up.
Martin Tyler, but remember we were at the match, so we only knew we only found out. We watched the highlights later.
That sums it all up.
Yeah, that's Tony Adams. Well, you know, the thing with Tony
Those
Adams,
were the
right?
days, Kenny, weren't they?
I'll say one thing about Tony Adams is we love him a lot, but I don't think the modern Arsenal fan will take to him. His honesty would rub up a lot of modern fans and precious Arsenal fans that the wrong way, because he's not. He'll say we're crap and that we deserve to lose. But Arsenal fans are precious for that.
I'd have more people like him than what we've got in the present time, mate. I tell you that now. I don't care what people say.
You say that, but at the moment it's very precious time. Is that you were at a situation where if you're too honest for your own good, especially when you're an Arsenal fan, then what happens is that your honesty is basically contrived to be or construed as not being back in the club, not backing a manager. You know, you're not a good supporter. You're toxic. When really and truly, you know, you can't say, you know, you can't call Lucozade what a bottle of Lucozade when it's something else. When it, you know, orange squash. Simple.
I'll call him back. My dad is very well. He keeps ringing me 3 times a day asking now because I think he's a bit worried.
I'm not too funny, right? Your dad should do that. You should be looking after him.
I know. He's not. But you can't, can you? You can't go anywhere near people at the moment, can you?
No, but psychologically.
What's the relaxed rule now as from tomorrow? Is that we can all... It's different rules, isn't it? Tomorrow, isn't it?
No. Tomorrow is when the primary school kids go back to school. And I think a week later, the secondary school kids go back. And they're even talking about shortening the summer holidays because of the amount of school, like I said, classroom time our school children have missed.
End of the month, beginning of April, isn't it? Gym's open beginning of April?
Well, they want it. Well, they say it's going to open. Yeah, I think they will open that time. But again, you know, if we talk off the subject, I'm a realist, right? When we come out of lockdown, I want us to come out of lockdown. I don't want us to go back to lockdown. So if they're not 100% sure it's the right thing to do, then keep us locked down. I know this is hurting a lot of people, but I don't want a situation where we're opening the doors, then we're shutting them. You know what I mean? If we're opening the doors, then let them stay open properly.
Oh, Rolf, I've got to put Rolfie up here because he's trying to wind us up here. Do you think that you're still the same big club as you were 20 years? Of course we are. We're still a big club.
In name only, but you know, like Tony's talking about trophies, and also what he's saying is that only one.
Why do they call us the Arsenal?
But come on. Yeah, but that's Claude, that is an albatross that we around our neck, and it's like a vice and it hinders us. We don't have to. We can still be whatever we want to be, but let's move with the times and let's be the Arsenal. But let's be the successful Arsenal that is relevant in terms of conversations, in terms of winning the title, and winning in Europe. That's what I want the Arsenal or the Arsenal to be. I don't want us to just be a History Channel thing. You know what I mean? We're better than that. We're better than that, Claude.
And according to Tony, he says he's enjoying life at home with the kids. He's enjoying life at home with the kids. And
good man.
24 hours 7. He said you can't beat it. He says it's brilliant. He's really.
I think
that's brilliant. That's good. That's good that he's enjoying.
I respect it because you hear all these nonsense and silly stories, negative stories about couples are going to divorce because the husband's at home all the time and he's a pain in the neck and it's putting a test of a relationship. Well, hang on here. What about the woman who only sees her husband maybe 2 or 3 days a week because the husband has to work away? Because then they're all working from home, that woman gets her husband back and gets help with the kids. How about a positive story like that? Why does it always have to be about relationship meltdown or breakdown because you're spending some more time together than normal. Come on. We need good news stories.
Tony's loving life there, loving life.
I'm happy for Tony.
That's why he can't come on our channel, see, at the moment, because
I think it's because he's got dodgy Wi-Fi.
Joyfully loving life.
And dodgy Wi-Fi.
Well, funny enough, I've just seen a message out there. Rangers could be Scottish champions if Celtic fail to win this afternoon. They're 0-0 at the moment, so they could be the Scottish champions by, about not in the next hour or two. They could be Scottish champions. Rangers, Glasgow. What a climb that's been for them in Scotland.
It's good for Scottish football. I think it'd be better for Scottish football if a team other than Celtic and Rangers won the Premiership. I mean, in the 80s, you had Aberdeen winning it a few times, and then you had teams like Dundee United winning in '83. Apart from that, I think it's boring just having the same two teams challenging for the big trophies and also winning all the cups as well.
Yeah, but they haven't got a player in the Europa League against the English clubs, have they? Really?
You don't. I think they have, because what will happen is that over two legs, and the fact that the fact that they're playing English clubs, and the fact that they want to probably play in England, that's I think that they'll be difficult to beat a Scottish side, old firm side, Rangers or Celtic, because at the end of the day, a lot of them are internationals, and they're going to be playing in Euro 2020. Yeah. Plus, they've got a lot of good foreign players as well.
By the way, that international thing, they reckon is in danger of being called off. Apparently, so
it's only because of South America that like Brazil, Argentina, because of the Premiership players. The Premiership has got their own way again. But COVID-19, and it is logical. But all I would say to people like yourself, Claude, is that you can't have a World Cup tournament without World Cup qualifiers. So international football is relevant.
Yeah. Well,
no answer. Yeah. No answer to that.
Those 2 weeks could have. We wouldn't have been so congested in the Premier League, would we? If we had them 2 weeks available. Yeah. Anyway,
next thing you're going to say is the Premiership is the best league in the world.
For entertainment, yes. For quality, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Am I right there?
Yeah, in terms of entertainment, but the thing is that there's some beautiful, practically and no, I even say that quality. I think quality-wise, we're not the best league. I think for entertainment, car crash football, you can't beat the Premier League. The other thing about it is that we're not celebrating the fact that there's that the gap between like the top six and the rest of the Premiership is getting smaller. We should celebrate that, but we don't celebrate it. Go, the league's crap. It's not as good as it was before because West Ham are doing well, because Villa are doing well. Seriously, if you want the league to be strong, then you.
Are you telling me that? Oh, hold on a minute. So, are you telling me that really us being in 10th is not as bad as it seems now?
I'm not. All I'm trying to say.
Other teams have closed the gap.
No, I never said that at all. I think is that you can't call English football competitive if the same teams win the title and the same teams are getting to the top four. Because they're only getting there because they've got more money than anyone else, and because they've got bigger squads. Now, that I don't call that exciting. I don't call it La Liga exciting when Real Madrid or Barcelona are going to win it, and occasionally Atletico Madrid. I'm certainly not going to call the French league exciting when PSG are going to win it virtually every year. I want competitive. You can't call a league exciting when the same teams win all the honours.
Yeah, but having said that, you wouldn't. How can I say? You wouldn't get results like Burnley winning at Liverpool in Spain, would you?
No. But the problem is that we think the league is exciting because we get those results. But we should celebrate the fact that not just the fact that we're getting those results. We should also celebrate the fact that the gap is getting smaller. We should celebrate the fact that Leicester City are trying to break in the top four. We should celebrate that because it shows that not the big teams, the big names, are the only ones who've got a chance of getting the top four and winning big games. We should celebrate that. That's when the league's competitive.
Fair enough, Kenny. Fair enough, and I know. How can I disagree with your knowledge anyway on the game? Anyway, I can't. You know what I'm saying? So listen, mate. Thank you for coming on, Kenny. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. And guess what, Claude? There's no cricket.
Spurs, isn't it? Ooh.
Yeah, next week. But let's face it, Claude. There's no cricket to watch, is there? I mean, the English cricket team did their.
Funny thing now, before we go, Kenny, on that, I've got to say that I was that innings the other day I saw from that. Is it for India, mate?
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, man, that reverse sweep was something else, wasn't it? Anderson's coming on with the new ball, and he has the audacity to sweep him like that. It was just
Can I be mischievous? You don't reverse sweep fast bowlers like that, do you?
No.
And Anderson's no longer a fast bowler. But what I'm trying to say is that I think with Indian cricket, one of the reasons why they're doing really well is that obviously they've got a massive population of about 1 billion. They've got the infrastructure as well. But because they're one of the biggest franchises in terms of like the T20, the IPL, they're playing with the best players in the world, which means they're younger players. And I think Kevin Peterson said that 5 years ago, that we don't really do that enough in England. But in terms of other countries, when you have franchise cricket like the 100 or the T20 or the IPL or the BBL, you want your younger players to play with the best players in the world, because that helps, your one-day sides, your international one-day side, and it helps your test sides because they learn good habits in terms of preparation and good technique. And I think India are laughing. They get the best. They get IPL Chris Gale, previously Kevin Peterson, De Villiers, Morley Morkel, Shane Warne previously was there, Mitchell Johnson. Name a lot of great players, and young Indian cricketers get to play with these players because of franchise cricket. And I think that's why India are going to be very, very strong for a long time, because they can play the best.
Can't complain about the pitch because it was for both sides as well. And also, I know they did a bit more. Also, I thought England just gave up in the second innings.
Well, I think the problem is that
the batting was woeful. I mean, at least try and dig in and get a score, but they just gave up. And I think that their mind was, can we? Of course,
it was. Bairstow's international career has to be over. But in terms, not just singing out Johnny Bairstow, what I'm trying to say in terms of England, right, is that England needs two new openers, a number 3, number 5, and some mystery spinners. Apart from that, English cricket is in a great state.
Apart from that, that's quite a bit. No, weren't they the number 1 Test team in the world at one time?
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. That was about 10 years ago under Andy Flower. And a year later, South Africa won at Lords, and they became the best team in the world. But England had players.
Who's currently at the moment?
Who's that? What?
You're more cricket, eh?
India, the number 1 Test team.
And then who's after them? Who would be after them?
New Zealand, the number 2. New Zealand.
Where do England come now then?
England would be England. I'll say England are probably behind, probably 4th, and in between sandwiched between Australia and South Africa.
So you'd say Australia in front of England?
Well, if Australia played the Test series and won in South Africa and found a way to win, they would have been in the Test Championship final instead of New Zealand. New Zealand only played two Test series because of financial situations where Test cricket doesn't sell in New Zealand, so they play more limited overs cricket, white ball cricket, they'll say. So for them to get in the final is great for New Zealand cricket because it might help their Test team. But how can a team that only play two Test series, virtually both home and away, get to the final? Biggest fluke ever, but great for New Zealand cricket.
Yeah. Okay, Kenny, that's me learning a few things about cricket that I didn't know, because Kenny is a absolute on cricket, football. Is there any other sports that you're good at? Boxing, of course. Boxing is that your main one, though? Boxing.
My first love is cricket. No, my first love is football. Come on, football, then boxing, then cricket.
Yeah, boxing is a big love of yours, isn't it? And
I adore the sport. I absolutely love the sport.
Before we go, any chance of a Joshua Tyson fight?
Well, the thing about it is that they're talking a good game, but the thing is they've got loads of things they need to think about. Remember, you got which TV station is going to be on. Is it going to be on Sky or BT? Is it going to be DAZN or Top Rank? You know, who's going to have the quick ring walk? You know, normally what happens with a world title fight is that you have the team that's going to bid. And what I mean by the team's going to bid is like you have the TV station has the bidding rights. So it's not necessarily going to be Sky or BT. You know, say in England, Eddie Hearn on Sky can outbid BT. So they will get the fight instead of BT Sports. The same in America where Top Rank can get it instead of DAZN. So it's all ifs and buts. And it's about getting a venue as well. There's no way, with COVID, unless they get a 90,000 capacity and we can get, mass gatherings in this country, it won't be held in this country, Wembley. And even so, there's more money to be made to have the fight in somewhere like Saudi Arabia in terms of the revenues, the site fees and everything, and the fact they can actually hold the event. And so, really and truly, if they really want to make money in the fight, it's either Saudi Arabia or the United States. In this country, obviously, yes, great for the fans, British fans, but they won't make as much money as they would abroad.
Okay, that's how we should wrap it up. Anyway, because we've been on here quite a while. Kenny's got to have some fun time with his children as well. I don't want to mess.
Leftovers takeaway from yesterday.
And what's the rest? I don't think it's still 0-0. I'm not sure, but what's the rest of the West Brom Newcastle game? I suppose, Kenny.
Definitely.
All right. Listen, everyone. Take care, everyone. Back tomorrow, where a man who's not far from controversy, LEIARS, will be in the building to put his case, and hopefully we can talk with LEIARS about the game. I saw his match goal reaction for the the game yesterday, and that was quite funny. So look out for LEIARS as well. Kenny Kemp, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Always a pleasure. Hopefully back next week. I think we're playing on Saturday.
What we do, we've got we've got a small game where it's basically like it's going to be held in front of about no fans, but it's actually a small game where the London Borough of Islington meets the London Borough of Haringey. I don't know what match that's involved, but I think one of the teams playing is Arsenal.
That's right. But there's even bigger game than that coming up on Thursday. Let's hope we can do it at business, get a result in Greece. And probably we might need a 2-goal lead, because we had a 1-goal lead and we blew it last year. So we might need a 2-goal lead to go through.
Look, Claude, let's just go through. Let's just get through.
Yeah, let's just get through to the next round. Yeah, it's Tottenham next Sunday. And by the way, we've got Anthony Costa.
Hold on. You got Anthony Costa. Yeah.
On Friday, 8 o'clock, Anthony Costa and
Stephen Bear?
Yeah, Danny Bear, his brother, who is actually in the film. Was it? He's in he's Danny Bear, his brother's be on as well. So listen, it's going to be good. 8 o'clock on Friday.
Who's on the panel? Is it you, Diesel, and
yeah, it'll be me, Diesel, Terry, and on the panel. With that, it'll be 3 against 2 of them. I'm going into the game more confident than when we last played them.
Claude, we're not in a position to look too far ahead. Let's just take one game at a time.
Yeah. The only thing I got more confident is that No, maybe I'm going too far. No. I'll call him back.
I better let you go.
Take care, everyone. All the best. See you soon.